Computers speak a single language made up of a long sequence of zeros and ones, also called machine language or machine code. So, theoretically, we should write our programs using only the symbols 0 and 1. Obviously not possible, we would go crazy very soon. To overcome this distressing problem, they have created intermediate programming languages, called high-level languages, which are understandable to humans and, through appropriate operations, also to the PC. Programs written with these high-level languages are usually contained in normal text files, called source code. Based on how the source code is transformed into an executable file by the computer, therefore composed of 0 and 1, there is the following subdivision of the programming languages. Compiled languages, semi-interpreted languages, languages interpreted. Compiled languages transform source code, through software, often simply called compiler, into machine code. Then, through the compiler, we transformed a text file into a file ready to be executed. Under Windows, an executable file corresponds to a file with the extension .x. These types of languages have the advantage of having better performance, but the source code is not necessarily portable, i.e. a source code written, for example, for Linux is not guaranteed to be transformed into an executable for Windows, and vice versa. Examples of compiled languages are C and C++. In interpreted languages, on the other hand, the instructions of the source code are read one at a time by a special software called an interpreter, translated into machine code and executed directly, without being transformed into another format. All these steps are repeated every time the program is run. For this reason, the execution of an interpreted program is slower. However, they have the advantage of being portable, i.e. the source code can be executed anywhere. An example of an interpreted language is HTML, whose code is executed directly from the browser. These types of languages, as the name suggests, are a cross between interpreted and compiled ones. The source code is first transformed, by the compiler software, into a program in an intermediate format that is the same for all machine types. This intermediate language program is then executed by an interpreter software, different for each type of machine, so we could have an interpreter for Windows and an interpreter for Linux. Java falls into the semi-interpreted language category, so the source code, which in this case corresponds to a text file with the Java extension, for example Hello World. Java is transformed by a compiler into an intermediate format called bytecode, recognizable by the file extension class, for example Hello World class, which is executed by a software component installed on the machine in question. This component is called Java Virtual Machine, JVM, and depends on the type of computer, i.e. a Linux JVM will be different from a Windows JVM.